today we are going to do 2-point perspective. I've got a super messy desk today, and hopefully I've scooted the stuff out of the way enough so you can see everything. Notice I've got a little bit different setup today. I taped these little 2 pieces of paper out to the side because I want to put my vanishing point way out here. And the reason I did that is because when the vanishing point is really close, it can distort the look of your perspective. So you don't want it distorted. You need to put the vanishing points further away. Okay, we're going to do 2 points. So what we do when we start with 2 point, we start with a vertical line. And that's what we're going to do. This is going to be the corner of our object. Okay, and today we're going to make a chair. We talked about that last video. And to start with our object here, I'm going to go ahead and draw both of my top and my bottom of this vertical line back to the vanishing points. And if you're not used to this, you probably should watch the other videos because I went through this when I did 2 point, so you know what's going on. Got my vertical line, 2 lines back to the vanishing points. Now what I want to do is I want to draw the sides of my box. Remember, I like to just draw a box when I do some of these things first. I think it just makes it a little easier. Even though you have more lines to erase, that's okay. You draw it really light. Don't draw it as dark as me. Okay, I'm only drawing this dark because it'll be easier for you to see it. Okay, just like 1 point perspective, the chair, I started with the seat first. I think I'm going to start with the seat first on this also. So I want to go ahead and figure out where my seat is going to be. And let's say it's going to be right there. Okay, that is going to be the seat. And I can draw like the thickness of the wood. Or I guess it could be metal or whatever it could be, but I'm going to draw the thickness right there. Notice that I'm drawing back to the vanishing points. Okay. Now I could draw the back portion of my seat if I want to. And now I'm going back to the opposite vanishing point. So I'm going from all the way over here, way over to the opposite vanishing point. And where these lines meet is where the back of the seat should be. And it looks like it's about in the middle of this line here. Maybe not quite, it's right about here. That's perfectly fine. So this is the seat. Now what I want to do is I want to create the legs, and I got the corner of the leg right there. So I can just go ahead and put another line here for the corner, and another line here. Okay, and this corner here, I want to set it back a little bit. I don't want it to be right on the edge. So I'm going to draw really just like the front of the leg. Okay, and to draw the 3-dimensional part, I want to draw back to this vanishing point. Now in my classes, we've been taking a break from perspective because we're doing this Halloween project for a little art show. And so we're going to try to get back to it as soon as we can, and I want to have this video ready to go as soon as the students are ready. Okay, so I've got this leg here, the middle leg there, and then let's get this leg in here. Again, I don't want to draw it right at the edge. I want to set it back a little bit. And bring this over here. And let's get the... Now I'm drawing this really dark. I would never do this if I were actually drawing this. I would draw it super light because I've got to erase these lines, and it is not going to look good if I have all these dark lines that I can't erase. Okay, now I've got to draw the back leg here, and I kind of want to figure out where it's going to be. It could be right behind this leg. So when I draw these points here, you know, it's like the leg might be back there. And it's hard to say. Generally, you know, it could be right. Draw through this, even though I really didn't want to. Yeah, it's right there. The corner of it's right here. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the leg here, and you can barely see it back here. But if I don't draw it, I think it'll look really odd if I don't draw it. So let's go ahead and draw it. Okay, let's see here. You know what I think I want to do? I think I want to draw it down a little bit here, a little bit further, and bring this back. I don't think it'll look quite right if I don't. Let's do that. Okay, so it's a little bit more confusing. I just want to bring it down from that line. It won't be quite right if I do that. So let's draw this one up here. I notice that this isn't quite parallel either. That's an error on my part. Sometimes the teacher is not perfect. Well, a lot of times we're not perfect. How about that? Okay, but you can kind of see the leg back there happening back there. Okay, now we can draw the back of the chair here, or we can draw it here, or we could draw it at this point or this point. It doesn't really matter where we want to draw it. Okay, but before what I did was I angled it a little bit, so I'm going to angle this one also. And that would be like the angle there. And then here, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw down to the point. Give me a guideline here, kind of back of the back where my chair is going to be. I'm going to go from this point, thinking that it probably, and I'm just going to eye this up, I think. I don't think I'm going to try to figure out exactly where this is at. I'm going to eye it up. Okay, so here's the back of the chair. You know, I think I want to make this back a little bit higher. So let's do this. Let's just make it a little bit higher. Remember, you're the artist, and that if you don't like it, just change it. That's the beauty of art, you know, that you could just, I don't like it that way. I think I'm going to change it. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my chair right there, a little higher. Okay, now that back, I like that better. I think that looks better. We can draw this portion there for the back of the chair, okay. So now what we have to do is we have to draw, you know, the dimensional part. And what I want to do here is I want to draw a line right there. And I want to go right up to that line, I think. Draw this one right here. Okay. Now we need to draw like also the three-dimensional part here. To do that, we have to draw back to the vanishing point. Okay, and I know you can barely see that. And again, because I'm so close to the horizon line, the eye level, you're not going to see much here. You're not going to see much of that little line there. Okay. And if we were further from the eye level, you would see more. Oh, got it moved on me. Let's see. Okay. Now it's kind of messed up line there. It'll be fine. And I'm going to make this parallel here. I'm going to try to make it parallel. Okay. And then I have to make a three-dimensional part back here, because this isn't real flat. And I'm just going to make it back just like this. Okay, look, I got it off a little bit. Let me see if I can fix that. Not satisfied with that, so that's what eraser is made for. You know, sometimes I tell my students, don't use your eraser, but other times I'm like, use your eraser. It just depends. Okay, pretty good. Now let's do that little like a support in here real quick. Just like a little support. We don't want people falling through our chair, do we? Okay, and then I'm going to erase a little bit of this line right now. We'll just make it kind of narrow. There we go. Now we have to make the little portion to make it three-dimensional, and we have to go back to this vanishing point. Again, you're not going to see much of it because it's really, really, really close to that horizon line. And let's draw this here. And I'm going to draw this back up here. Okay, got a little bit messed up there. Again, these little bitty parts here, kind of messed up. So maybe I could draw them a little bit darker and clean them up a little bit. Again, I would draw it really lightly when you do it, okay? And it will be better. So I've got that there. If I want to put supports in here, down here, I can do that now also. I think what I'll do is I'll put it right about here. Looks good to me. Again, you would do some erasing, draw it lighter than me, but I'm drawing it super dark for your benefit. Okay, let's draw this one in here, and then we will draw the three-dimensional part. One more line there. Okay, so now we have to draw thickness of this wood. I'm going to draw it way out here, I think. Again, you'd have to do some erasing. Okay, and see, I want to erase that down there, erase that in there, but for now, I'm going to leave it. To get the top of this, I want to go to the opposite vanishing point. And then I can draw back here and get the very top of this thing. Kind of see that? Okay, let's draw the top of this here. Back to the opposite vanishing point. And right here. When you're drawing these things, if you have a really sharp pencil, I think it kind of helps too. I've got kind of a dull one here, so that's not quite as accurate as I want it to be. Okay, so now we need to draw that back here and this back here, the different supports there for the back portion. And I think what I will do is draw it from right here and draw this one from down here. I'm not going to draw through that there because I can't see through it, obviously, right? I'm going to draw that just freehand. Okay, I can draw the top of it if I want. Okay, now I got to get the top portion of this piece of wood. Again, you would do some erasing, of course, or do it super light and then come back and clean it up. Okay, so we've got that done. And let's go ahead and do this one here. And we'll get the side of this piece of wood for this leg. And again, we're not drawing through the leg or through this because now this one here, we don't have any corner to kind of figure out where we're at. We're just going to have to kind of guess. I'm just going to guess based on what I think. Okay, so I mean, we would erase this right here and that right there, and that would help clean it up. Right here would erase that. But you kind of got the idea of what's happening with this 2-point perspective. You see how it came out of the box because I decided to make it a little bit bigger. You know, I might have brought this in a little bit more. I could probably have done that. I think it would look a little bit better. But overall, I think it gives you the idea of what you need to do. So that is a chair in 2-point perspective. Next time, let's go ahead and do a chair in 3-point perspective and see how you can do that. So I will see you next time. Make sure you hit that, that like thing and the subscribe button and ring that bell and all that stuff right like that. And you will get my next video. Okay, I will see you next time.